between the Protoss and Zergs who represent each region. Not only did he advance to the GSL Finals 2 consecutive seasons, the Protoss player has also made it to his first ever WCS Global Finals. Trap. After taking down the GSL champion at GSL versus the World, he's proved how fearsome a Zerg he is. He laser. After achieving a hat trick by winning BlizzCon, IEM World Championship, and GSL, he soared to become the best Zerg of GSL, Rogue. Qualifying for BlizzCon 4 consecutive times, he cemented himself as the pride of North America, the circuit's strongest Protoss, Neve. The Zergs and Protoss of both sides have armed themselves to the teeth with their abundant experience and stellar skills. 2019 WCS Global Finals, Round 16, Group D.
That's right, we're back here as we get into things. We have our 2 series done, and we are going to be moving on into the winners match in just a few moments. However, we just came off the back of Rogue having a relatively dominant performance here when going up against Neve. Joining me, I have Pig and Rotterdam. Of course, the scoreline, Rotterdam, quite close indeed. However, Rogue did make some of these games look inevitable when it comes to his kind of play style and how he was playing things out.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the first 2 games were somewhat similar, right? I think especially the first one looked a bit painful, but yes, we can talk about like Roaches and Nidus networks being incredibly strong. They are. We saw that in Group A as well. This is good. But if I see a Templar Archives getting sniped, the last thing I would ever do is rebuild it, like 2 inches away from where it died. And guess what? It got sniped again. Like, of course, this is a very strong playstyle, and it's hard to play properly against it as a Protoss, but you're also kind of asking for trouble when you start doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Big.
Yeah, and this was at a certain point when the Protoss is pinned back like this. If you're taking any damage on those Locust Waves, you're falling further and further behind, and it's almost impossible to get back out from underneath the gun. You could see Neve had a plan. It was get Blink, get the Stalkers, and if you can just absorb enough of those waves, eventually you have a big enough army, you push in and you say, hey, you've only got Roaches and Ravagers, I've got Immortals, Stalkers, Micro, I can take you out. Problem is, whenever it got to that point in this series, Rogue was like 50 army supply ahead with a big bank to remax. So Neve was just very far behind, and it was a bit painful to watch because he was losing the game often 7 or 8 minutes before the game actually finished.
I feel like some of those moments, especially in Game 1, where he's just remaking the Nidus one over and over, is not only a frustrating play, but it's like watching their parents at Nickelodeon get gunked constantly by all the ooze. There was just, it's a terrifying prospect not only to deal with, but then also frustrating mentally to deal with, Rotterdam.
Yeah, of course, because at one point it feels like Rogue is not even trying anymore. Like he sees 3 Zealots and 2 Stalkers, and he just puts one, and then he loses it, he puts one next to it. It's like almost adding insult to injury at that point. I must say, I really like the touch of the Dark Shrine in Game 2, and I felt that it made the defense a bit better for quite some time. But this is obviously a very large map, so it is hard to finally start moving. And the moment you do move out, yes, you are going to lose a lot at home. It's like either you move out before the party even starts, or you just got to sit back forever. Like, it's one of the 2, right? There is no middle way, really.
So where did the change-up for Neve come here when he starts accruing a little bit more momentum, Pig?
Yeah, I mean, he brought back some old school builds. 2016, 2017 Neve. This was a classic adept timing, you know, really fast. Chronos the Twilight, Chronos out the first few adepts. But following it up with 2 Stargates, you know, Oracle's really good, and Rogue here, going for the +1 melee massling, he was committing to tons of Zerglings, really hurt his own economy. And if he managed to really crush the first adepts, surround them, clean them up, deny the 3rd base, it's okay for Rogue. But he was not able to surround the first adepts. They were trading out. Each adept was killing like 7 or 8 Zerglings, and that's really good. You then add Oracles. They obviously kept him alive. This was a nice attempt here. You know, Rogue knocked down the 3rd base, but Neve just very patiently moved back into his main, and it was just calculated, dictating the pace from there. Neve massively ahead from the adept pressure opening.
Yeah, I know it may have looked somewhat good for Rogue because he got an Nexus, but that really wasn't good. He was doing that at 25 drones. I think the very first fight was a bit deceiving because, like, yes, he was trading out, but he had +1 on the way, but he didn't have it done yet. And that's why those fights were nowhere near good enough. And this was very different. This time it wasn't even Rogue dealing damage to himself. This time it's like, no. He was like, I'll do all the damage for you, getting 20+ drones,
Yeah.
I gotta love it, man. We don't see enough Glaive Adepts anymore, but Glaive Adepts is so freaking good, and you can really catch a lot of these greedy Zerg openings off guard.
And Pig, your clairvoyance kind of shone through in the back for game number 5.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying backstage, I really would like to see more of these Adept timings, more double Stargate plays, maybe even the double Stargate Phoenix, which Roddy's been calling for. And I said, you know, it'd be really sad if we saw just a 3 Oracle into uninspiring gateway push. And the Roach Ravager defense was perfect here by Rogue. His creep spread was incredible. Once he shut down that push, he was so far ahead, and it was inevitable. He was able to just throw these Locusts in. You've got unupgraded Stalker Sentries Immortals up against Locust Roach Ravager. An easy cleanup for Rogue after holding that push, so I would have loved Neeb to go back, play some of those more wild, old-school 2 Stargate builds, keep the Glaive Adept pressure going. I guess it's very weak on that map, though. You can't really go Glaive Adepts across Disco Bloodbath. Yeah, Roddy?
Maybe with a proxy gate or something, like something that Classic has done a lot in the past. I think that kind of stuff can still work. Like, I didn't hate the build of Neeb, but I think that build would have been way more powerful on a smaller map. But this is something that the Terran players have been very vocal about. A lot of these maps are very big. So just walking across the map with a couple of sentries, yeah, it takes a while.
And there we do have it, as we have now our winners match as well as elimination match completely determined here. Rogue goes up against Trap in our next match, and Elazer goes up against Neeb later on. And even in the interview there, Rogue mentioned that he felt very confident against the Protosses when it comes to this kind of style.
He's not making any Zerg friends, is he? Like,
no.
He's about to become the least popular Zerg among all the Zergs in the world.
Don't tell them.
It's actually amazing.
It brings us neatly on to a fixture that we've seen in recent memory, where it kind of was the boppening again. Rogue versus Trap. They met each other in a recent final, and it was not close here. So Rogue's got potentially a good chance.
I mean, yeah, it's a good opportunity for Trap, because when you lose a big important match that one-sidedly, you want another chance. You know, obviously, you go back to the drawing board. We hope he can bring out some new things. But I think to beat Rogue, you can't play the same that you did against the Laser there. Things like the Cannon Rush, I liked, but I think just very typical kind of 2 or 3 Oracles in the Phoenix, we saw Rogue was super prepared. Second Spore Crawler in the main every game. His Queens were in position. I think you can do this some games, but we saw that at a certain point, the Zergs are so good at droning up, and if they're allowed to get that Nidus Swarm host out, this is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the map. Now, I often like to say, like, X player is the best in the world with a certain thing, but I do generally believe that Trap could very well be the best Oracle player in the world. I think it's always an opinion, but I really think that his control is second to none. Like, he can actually get so much value out of these.
Yeah.
So if he just keeps that up the way that he did against Elazer, maybe even slightly better, then he can absolutely find some openings against Rogue as well. I mean, you mentioned a GSL final. I think we all saw it as StarCraft fans. Yeah, that wasn't a pretty final, but I don't think that necessarily means that these games are going to look the same. That was just Rogue playing well, but Trap having a terrible off day. That happens. Maybe the nerves or the stage or the pressure got to him. Hopefully he can learn from that experience, because if Trap plays his best, I absolutely give him way more than just a fighting chance here.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents. Time to get into things. We now find out who moves on into the round of 8 here, as our 2 WCS career combatants go up against one each other. We have Rogue going up against Trap. Let's go to it.
What's up, everybody? Tasteless is back with Maynard again. Hi, Tasteless. I'm having a good time casting with you. Not really. No, I lied. I know my impressions are uncanny.
You didn't lie, Tasteless.
It's me.
It is me. It's Maynard.
When I flush the toilet, the water goes in an opposite direction because I'm from Australia. I'm with Artosis. It's good to have you back, Artie. We saw Neeb kind of get whooped.
Yeah, he had a couple strong victories there, but the ones that he lost, did he lose them? It was a little bit brutal, but Rogue is really the strongest ZvP that we've seen. He kind of has his own style. He doesn't even, the funny thing is he's so good late game, he doesn't care to go there. He would prefer to just kill you with Swarm Hosts and an endless supply of Nidus Swarms.
Yes.
Like, he just shift queues them out. It's pretty hilarious to watch. But anyways, he's going up against teammate Trap. This is the previous GSL Kodos Finals, which of course was one of our most one-sided ones ever because Rogue 4-0 Trap so hard. Now, luckily that won't be the case tonight. This is a best of 5, not a best of 7.
I hope this is close. I want to see if Rogue does the same style. All right, we're going to load this up right now. Let's do this. Rogue vs. Trap, our best of 5 begins now. bottom right in the red, our Zerg player from Korea. He is
Jin Air Greenwing, Rogue.
And in the upper left, in the blue, our Korean Protoss player. He is
Jin Air Greenwings, Trap.
So Trap, open up with the Scoutless Expand. It's all good. You know, the one thing that we were all talking about a lot in the green room down there, watching that last series, is to play against Rogue, to play against Zerg in general, you want to be on the map a lot, but against Rogue especially, because the moment that you're playing defensively, the Nidus Worm and the Infestation Pit starts.
Yeah.
And that doesn't end well.
no.
You have to actually be out on the map hitting him, or he will start sending in Locusts, and there's not going to be any chance from there.
It did seem like Neeb was starting to get a handle on how to take Rogue on and stop the Nidus play, but then in Game 5 he he just went back to what he was doing that didn't work before and then died.
Yeah, that is what we saw there. I mean, maybe Trap has learned from that. Of course, there should be some mind games involved since they're teammates. They know each other really, really, really well.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It's possible that Rogue brings that play style out against Neeb because, you know, it won't work against Trap. Trap already knows how to play against it. Well, what is he doing here now?
Proxy Stargate.
Yeah, Proxy Stargate down here at the bottom of the map. Okay.
It'd be pretty surprising if it was anything other than Proxy Stargate, but I would totally be prepared for
I welcome
such
anything.
an exciting moment.
And there it is.
Okay. See how many drones he can get. Like Roddy was saying, his Oracle control is really fantastic. We've seen a few Proxy Oracles this weekend where they're killing like 4 drones when maybe they could have gotten 6 with perfect micro. So, you know, that is the type of damage we should end up seeing out of Trap here.
Yeah, so this is just a technique to get out a few additional drone kills because especially in the early game for StarCraft 2, everything is mapped out to a T. So, you know, players will try as much as they can to get things out at the exact moment that they need to get it and no sooner. And, you know, with the math working out the way it is, this Oracle will get there a little bit more quickly and therefore get a few more kills.
Well, the first Adept kind of walking in right now. Nice body blocking from the Queen, just beautifully done right there. Looks like he won't be able to get a drone. Does force a build and a cancel there. Well, great micro on both sides. First Oracle, of course, on the way. A Stalker coming out to clear this Overlord.
Yep, this Overlord coming in here to try to scout any tech at all.
And Overlord speed on the way, which won't be too useful in this game.
No. But in some sense, I mean, just knowing that there's nothing else coming is probably all Rogue really needs to do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're not going to find the strategy that you need to stop, but at least seeing that there isn't some kind of crazy strategy can be pretty helpful.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's see how many drones he can actually end up getting here. 3 drones, 4 drones. St. Queen comes up, decides to bail out for now. He does have that second Oracle on the way, so should be able to get a little bit more damage done.
Yeah, very nicely done. Now, Rogue's Overlord is going to spot this where the Stargate is, so that'll probably be a target for an attack later on here. Oh, actually, the Lings are going to get there right now.
Yeah, not too much later, huh?
I like the placement of that pylon. It actually makes it more of a headache for the Lings to kill off the pylon.
Yeah, the surface area definitely a little bit more difficult. Look at this, though. A shade into the third. Rogue so quick.
Perfect pull there.
So quick. Well, going to shade again. We'll see if he lets that one finish. Trap is really looking for damage, but not getting as much as he would like here.
He's only gotten 1 drone kill since the start of this attack. Great body blocking there. He's going to push this Adept back, and if there's just 1, okay, 3 drone kills.
I mean, he's gotten 7 kills so far, as far as drones go overall between the Oracles and Adepts. See if these Oracles do anything this time.
I really thought the Adept play was going to do more damage, but Rogue is so quick to pull his army out and just go to safety.
A relatively quick Prism actually popping out now. He's going for the Templar Archives as well, so maybe some Archon drop harassment. I think it'll probably start out with a little bit more Adept harassment, though. Of course, the Oracle's still flying around.
Okay, nice snipe. Oh! Again, I mean, you know, the idea of what Trap is trying to do is pretty good, but I have to say the defense here from Rogue has just been perfect. It's hard to imagine anybody doing better than this.
Yeah, no, he's quite good at that. That's kind of Rogue's superpower, right? Is the late game, generally speaking, and you have to defend very, very well to be able to get there. So, some more gates on the way. Looks like the Archon drop getting ready. Can't really expect Archon drops to do much nowadays, though. That reduced pickup range, a little bit harder to get the Archons in and do damage. And I think against a player like Rogue, you shouldn't expect too much. But, you can pick off some Lings here and there. Some creep tumors. He did make an Observer, I believe.
And it looks like Trap is setting up to do Zealot charge with Archons here.
Yeah.
To put on a lot more pressure here. And again, we've been talking about this. Well, Minor and I were talking about this in the last cast. But, Zerg is really strong in the late game. So you need to come in there and try to figure out some way to kill them right away.
Oh, for sure. Look at this. Actually picks off one of those queens, the one with the highest energy. Yeah, second queen, and he hasn't taken any damage on that prism. That's just absolutely fantastic. Even keeps that alive. And with all these zealots that are starting to be warped in, I mean, I'm kind of liking overall where Trap is at. He didn't get as much damage through his harassment early on as I actually thought he might. Thought he'd get a couple more drones than that, but I feel like he's playing a pretty solid game here and should be able to hit a strong mid-game attack.
Okay, these Lings come down now, are going to deny this pylon. It's important that the Protoss gets a third base set up pretty quickly here, so using these Lings effectively like that, even when there's Oracles out, is pretty impressive. So yeah, here comes that Infestation Pit, like you were saying, Artosis. Is there going to be an attack here or not? Because, as you were saying, if they're too passive, then the Nidus play comes in and you just start getting bashed.
Yeah, I think he's going to skip Nidus this game. We have 3 active Oracles, an active Phoenix, and then an active Prism with Archons in it. So I think he's actually probably going to use that for a Hive. We'll see in a minute here, but a nice warp in here of charge lots.
And he can actually drop the Archons here to help out with this fight and maybe even get another warp in. And now the Immortals coming in on this side. Great attack. The splash damage doing so much damage.
Yeah, beautiful moves right now. Of course, some more Roaches are coming down. Rogue micros himself into that corner for less surface area for these Zealots. Another huge group of Zealots coming out, though.
Trap is starting to corner every piece of the army here as so much damage is coming down. Great micro there with the Archon slowly moving that forward here. The Zealots can now start killing drones. I don't know that Rogue can hang on.
He is almost to the point of breaking through Rogue right now. That Immortal still alive here. Great micro with the Prism, keeping his Archons alive forever.
Archon with no shield, still doing damage here as the Zealots tear this up. GG! Protoss revenge.
Yeah.
Trap takes game 1.
Just beautiful execution there from Trap. Great control throughout the entire game. His build order was so smooth, so streamlined, got a lot of those Zealots out early on, keeping on that early pressure. Just an awesome game from Trap.
Rogue definitely frustrated with that loss. I mean, he played well, but clearly the angle at which that attack came in, the Roaches were running back, they crashed into the Immortal. The Queens were picked off earlier on with that Archon harass, and things just started to stack, and the damage got to an exponential pace.
Yeah.
There was nothing he could do, and so here we are in game 2.
All right, World of Sleepers coming up next. Excited to see what Trap is going to try to pull off here. Obviously, a little bit of a tough map.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Our game is loading up. Rogue vs. Trap continues on now. In the bottom left in the red, our Zerg player, he is
Jin Air Greenwing, Rogue.
in the upper right in the blue, our Protoss player, he is
Jin Air Greenwing, Trap.
What do you think, Artosis? Trap goes for another timing attack, or will he try to go for a late game? I actually wouldn't be shocked if he just timing attacks every game.
Well, I think that you should. I think right now there's no mapped out late game that is
viable.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've heard theories about ideas of what you could do late game, but how to get there, and then you would have had to practice that already. No, we shouldn't really see Protoss players advancing to the full tech tree here, except when completely forced to. So really timing attacks, that's what we've seen having a lot of power, right? Look at the players that have put out the really high-level PVZs lately.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, obviously we saw Hero putting Raynor right up against a wall, barely losing that match. We've already seen Trap against both Laser and now Rogue doing some very aggressive plays. So that's really what we should be expecting for this tournament as far as quality PVZs that work.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, one other thing too is that especially with Jin Air players, right? They train together, they talk about the game as far as theory goes together, so they really understand how each other's minds are working. There's a Jin Air consensus within the team house of how the game works and how to play each race on each map.
Well, you say consensus, but SOS is on the team, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I get where you're going.
Okay, no, yeah, that's right. SOS kind of does his own thing, but so whenever you have two players who are very, very aware of each other's play styles because they spend so much time together, there's a lot of times little mind games that go on where there's no way for you and I to really see it, but they'll do builds that might just try to hard counter something that's been common in the team house, or pull out a build that they've never used in practice before because it might be so weird that the other player just doesn't know how to react to it. So yeah, we could end up with some very, very odd games here. Sometimes team games just don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Right now, it is a robo opening. Very, very quick Prism coming out. The Prism, I mean, if you get the Prism this early, you definitely are looking to do some harassment with it. And he throws out a Forge with it as well. Okay. Definitely, the thing is there's Overlord speed on the way, so I don't think he's going to be able to trick him too hard. But there are sometimes plays that you can do where you make it look like you're going to all in your opponent with an Immortal push or something, and then you're just chrono boosting a Forge behind, taking your third Nexus, and going for a much later push. So you're looking to kind of force those drones out, or force the units out more early so there's less drones, and you can kind of hit a later attack with that. But, of course, again, with the Overlord speed coming, not likely for him to be able to trick him too much.
I think you're right, Artosis. This appears to be setting up for greedy play. So the opposite of a timing attack. Instead, it's going to be just trying to power up as much as possible. So the Roach Warren's done now. Here's the +1 attack coming in. But again, when you get Overlord speed, you can glide through here and basically identify exactly what they're doing.
And he sees. It's okay, we have an Immortal, we have a Prism, we have the Forge spinning. So when you see the Forge spinning, you know the attack is not going to be dedicated quite yet. Back at home, Rogue throwing down an Evolution Chamber, continuing to drone, as he should.
Yeah, when you see a Forge, you know that there's basically...
it gives you some time.
You would not attack at all until at least +1 attack was done. Yeah, especially the first upgrade. There's no reason. Why would you invest in that and not an army if you're not going to wait and save that?
Yeah, the attack will never really come before +1 is done, so you can really narrow that down. Like, for instance, if you don't see the Forge and if you scout everything there except the Forge, that's where you might have to stop your drones, very early, like 40, 44 drones, something like that. But here, he's been able to power up quite a bit more. We're up to almost 60 workers for Rogue.
And this is going to be, it looks like a 2-base timing push as +1 attack finishes. Now, the Scouting Overlord did not get to see how many gates are there, and here comes that attack right now. Now, +1 is closer and closer to finishing, so basically when the Protoss is about to step on creep, +1 should finish.
Yeah, this is very well timed out, and I feel like this is not the most common build right now, for sure. So
yeah, no kidding.
He definitely could have caught him off guard a little bit. He's up at 60 workers. So this is quite all in from Trap.
Yeah, I like it.
He has to make this work.
He's coming in now. There's only 2, now 3 Ravagers out. The War Prism is in a more than safe location, but far away enough that it cannot be used to juggle here.
All right, some good micros so far. This is a wide area, though. You see Rogue staying back. He's trying to get that surface area. Moves forward once again, starting to deal a lot of damage to the front. Some of the sentries and stalkers already falling.
They're trying to run back now. Looks like this Queen might just barely not get sniped. More Warpins coming. again, the Trap has to end the game with this attack here, or it's going to be pretty bad for him.
Yeah, minimum he has to do a ton of damage, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. This push is not doing very much. He keeps losing valuable parts as well.
Yeah, this angle is actually very hard for the Protoss to move through. It's just I don't know if we could call it a bottleneck, but it's right when the area starts to tighten up. The Spine Crawler is just far back enough that the Protoss is going to take a fight. It's going to be a pretty tight squeeze.
Yeah, your surface area increases a huge amount once you get in range of that spine. So it's a beautiful setup, a beautiful defensive arc here from Rogue. And I can't even imagine trap breaking him at this point. Can you imagine it?
Nope. I don't know how on earth. Trap's going to do any damage now. It seems like Rogue just outpaced him here.
Yeah,
was ready
it's
with an
very tough.
answer. And again, guys, we don't have Protoss on the third base.
Yeah, well, it's not just not a third base, but we don't even have a Twilight, so he can't get more upgrades. He can't make his gateway units any better. There's nothing going on for Trap right now. Now, does he back up and do something else? Yeah, he's started armor. He's making more Immortals. What we'll probably see here is phase 2 of the All-In, which has a few more Immortals. Maybe he rebuilds his sentry count some. But, I mean, his best chance to win this game is already gone.
Yeah, basically. I mean, this is usually the second phase of the rush is it's like 50% of the strength of the first one usually.
Yeah, generally.
You know, normally you have a build mapped out where the moment the attack gets there, it's at a moment when you have a little bit more or way more than normal, and they are in some kind of a transitional period. They're trying to either tech or make more drones, and you spring this attack on them and they're not ready. But when your first attack is held, that means they had enough of their own attacking units.
Yeah,
and so then it's like, well,
that's not changing either.
Are they droning too hard after that? I don't think Rogue's going to do that, right?
No.
But let's see.
He's just continuing to make a lot of units. He has Baneling speed on the way, +2 melee on the way. Lots of Lings popping out. He has so many Ravagers.
Yeah, there's so many Ravagers that he can make the Protoss back up over and over and over. And we're, oh my God, the Zealots are just, they disappear before they even touch a Zerg unit.
It's very, very true. They are not really doing much at all for him right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, he keeps trying to warp in, but I just...
Well,
look, Rogue is just in a spot where he can hold this. I feel like we're probably just going to have Trap fizzle out. By the way, Rogue is basically maxed out.
Yeah. The only chance for Trap here is to just continually warp in and walk back and forth here. If anyone remembers when Immortal pushes were really popular, like this would be the way that you would try to win in these bad situations. It's like, well, I mean, if eventually you both max out, the Roaches aren't quite as good anymore. Trying to get some damage done here, throwing down a lot of force fields. That army is just
too many
so
Ravagers.
scary, though. Yeah.
He's got corrosive biles for weeks, Sartosis.
For decades.
It's just too hard to get through here. Looks like the Spine Crawler's finally taken out. A moral victory there.
I did kill your spine.
Yeah. Thing is, there's never going to be enough force fields to block anything off. Ravagers can break the force fields down, and they can also just keep blanketing this area with more corrosive biles where there's no way to get away.
Ooh, and now the Speed Banes are out. Which again makes it even harder. Lots of Lings and Banes being produced right now. Very few force fields left over.
Oh my God, so many Banes.
True counter to Stalkers, it's Speed Banes.
Oh, GG.
Yeah.
Tied up 1-1.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was kind of a tricky attack because when you get the Forge, I feel like just +1 Immortal timings are not, like, these types of Immortal attacks in general have fallen off because Overlord speed and Zergs have gotten better against them anyways.
Yeah.
But to have it just be a +1, that allowed Rogue to get a lot of drones. He had beautiful building placement, a beautiful arc of his army. He really had an all-encompassing defense there against that build from Trap.
All right, we're going to go to Disco Bloodbath for game number 3 here. Look, I think Trap probably just going to do another time and attack, right? He just has to keep randomizing it so that Rogue can't predict it or can't spot it in time.
Yeah, I'd like to see it be something a little different from that, though.
Okay, well, let's find out. Our game's now loaded up. This is Rogue versus Trap, game 3. In the right, in the red, our Zerg player, he is
Jin Air Greenwing, Rogue.
And in the left, in the blue, our Protoss player. He is
Jin Air Greenwings, Trap.
So Artemis, Artifer.
How's it going, Tastifer?
I am not
Tastimus.
Oh, hold on. Go Trap. Sergo P.
Something trap card.
Nice. Let the memes flow.
Let them flow. This is how we power up Nathanius for his cast
That's right.
later.
Nathanius has been on a diet of only memes for, I think, at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. The doctor said it would kill him, but he's still here. He's going strong.
Yeah.
They say he's getting younger.
His memes sure are.
Well, what's in the memes? We don't know. Doctors are still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But you know what they say? E-gaming keeps you young, Artosis.
That's what they say. It's a good way to challenge your brain.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's
Crossword puzzles are a thing of the past.
People think that-
unless they're e-crossword puzzles.
Nice, yeah. That's the next big e-game. People say, you know, well, a lot of normal games aren't accepting of e-gaming. And I go, well, we don't care what normal games are doing.
That's right.
We don't care what they think.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I'm not here to impress you guys.
You, Tasteless, know this best as the CEO of e-gaming.
I am the CEO, yes. The founder of e-games.
Yes. The original e-gamer, even.
Yeah. The first person to put the E in front of game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was you.
So we got all these E's laying around. Why don't we just use them, you know? What are we doing? I kind of want to see Trap smash Rogue. Can I say that as a commentator? Is that wrong?
No, that's right, even.
I think I've had it with these Zergs. I think I
You've
want to
had
see.
it?
I've had it.
Up to here?
Up to here. You got to imagine my hand was going like really high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, man, I want to see some Protoss justice.
That's what I want to see as well. But the thing that, like, I'm kind of afraid of, right? We have Maru in the next round as a second-place seed. Like, does he have a better chance against Trap or against Rogue? Like, just in case he has to play them or something? I don't know how that bracket's going to end up working out, but yeah, I mean, who is going to be the hero to kill the dirty bugs?
I know.
Could be Trap. I mean, Trap's play is really good. You have to mix up your build some. You have to be willing to do some strategies that don't work. Like, for instance, mixing in things like the Robo +1. This makes his other strategies more powerful.
Yes. So, we've got to pause. I'll let you guys know when we're ready to hop back into the game.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Well, you know, there's a reason why we put the E in front of the game.
Yeah.
Because, you know, E stands for electronic.
Well, what's the vehicle
or energy
of e-games?
Computers.
Ah.
So I was notified that there was some kind of humming or something in one of the headsets. So
in Trap's ear?
Yeah.
That was just E-mini.
And so you guys know the rules. He's disqualified. All right, nice seeing you here, Trap. No, no, I think we fixed it. Okay.
All right.
There's this button on my desk I hit, and it turns all the humming off. You guys don't know what we actually do here. We're actually on bicycle seats pedaling, and if we stop, the stream dies too. This is.
All right.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, he's made the Phoenix to chase away the Speed Overlord. Sees that an Oracle is in fact on the way. A couple more gases being made right now. So possibly this will go into an Archon drop type of play like we saw previously. Some spores going up.
Now again, we've had this as a general idea in PvZ is that Oracles come out with the Phoenix neutralizes the Queen, the Oracles then target down the drones. Doesn't get a lot, but you know, it's something. In StarCraft, if you can get away with anything, you got to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And then the Protoss usually takes a third, and then eventually dies to Broodlord Infestor. So what I'm wondering is, while this looks like it might be a standard game, maybe there's going to be some kind of tricky timing push with this. Because you can basically, as you get the Phoenix out and the Oracles out, you can disguise what's going on back home, as long as you get rid of the Overlords.
Sure, absolutely. And we actually already saw Trap do a really clever move. Like, he brought in the Oracle Phoenix towards the top of the main, but then actually looped the Oracle around. So the attention of Rogue was over at his main base, thinking there might be a dive there. He even had 2 queens there. Then the Oracle flew down and just sniped a couple drones on their way to the third. So kind of a clever, cute move there. In the meantime, he is gearing up for a strong attack. Immortal on the way. A lot of gateways and sentries being warped in.
Does take a long time to kill that Overlord with 1 Phoenix, man. All right, another dive in. Oh, miscontrolled. Doesn't get a single drone. Oh, sorry. Okay, I spoke too soon. He got 3.
And still has all 3 left alive, so that's pretty important there. The gates are going to finish up. Looks like a third Nexus goes down. Is he actually going to do a move out here? Is it just a single Immortal and 2 sentries so far?
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I guess it is. That's all I'm seeing. Or he might be trying to fake pressure here.
Yeah,
because he did this in the other 2 games, and then he just recalls back home.
Well, the Flying Army continues.
Well, it's definitely not an actual attack now with a Forge coming here.
Yeah, looks like he is going to gear up for a much later attack. Looks like a drop Overlord ready now to hit that main base. Oracle and Phoenix is out of position a bit, and in fact the Phoenix goes down, so not going to be able to chase away that drop Lord so easily.
Solo, he might actually get stuck here. Unless this he gets all the damage done, distributed absolutely perfectly so that none of the Oracles die. Ooh. Wow.
Well, loses one right there. The drop goes into the main. Pretty quick warping.
Okay, pretty good defense here, but 9 probes already killed. I'm sorry, 9 drones. I don't know what I'm doing right now. 9 drones. What? I didn't see any die there, but okay.
Tastes he's attacking the stalkers.
Excuse me.
Uh-oh, Tasteless. Do you see what I see?
Oh, no.
He's like, hey, are you sitting in your base for a moment?
How dare you? Let me punish you with Nidus worms.
Well, let's see if he throws down the Nidus. We don't see it yet. There it is.
Our old friend, the Nidus Network.
Old friend.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
A Nidus worm.
Yeah, that was the right
sorry. Okay. So, we get the Swarm hosts out here.
I got one for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
GG.
GG who?
Nidus worm.
Oh.
All right, 12.
I think the answer is GG Trap. You're dead. Now, yeah, you basically pelt, one of the Protoss' 3 locations with the Locust. A lot of times you see Roach Ravager paired with this in another part of the map. And you force the Protoss into this insane balancing act of trying to defend 3 areas when the units that are usually the best to defend are actually the clunkiest, the Archon and the Immortal. And so it's hard to traffic those units around into different spots. So this is going to be tough. Let's see exactly how a Trap tries to take it on.
Oh, this is really tough, man. Like, he is not out there putting on pressure. He's actually taking a 4th Nexus and trying to defend harassment.
This is literally the dream for Zerg right now.
Yeah, this is rough, and he just GG's. Yeah, I actually,
oh my God.
I kind of appreciate that GG because we're not exaggerating, we casters, when we say, like, for instance, if you are sitting in your base and the Locusts land, winning from there is... Like, you actually need to be out on the map against this.
You need to be in control. So what Trap did there was he kind of faked some pressure, and then he actually tried to get as quickly as humanly possible into a 4th base and maybe try to win in a long run. It didn't work. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Rogue versus Trap, game number 4 will be on. Welcome back, everybody. We're going into game 4. We saw Trap flounder in game 3.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. I don't know if he should go macro anymore.
You can't slow down your pressure, or Rogue just is like, oh, you're not going to attack me for the next minute? Well, I have something for you, sir.
Fool! Night Swarm.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to Triton. Trap kind of came in here looking pretty strong, but Rogue, he makes some adjustments in his play, and suddenly he's back to being invincible. And our game is now ready. Let's go to game 4 with Rogue versus Trap. Right now, Rogue with a 2-1 lead. In the upper left, in the red, our Zerg player. He is
Jin Air Greenwing, Rogue.
in the bottom right, in the blue, our Protoss player. He is
Jin Air Greenwings, Trap.
So I want to remind everybody, one of these guys is going to be advancing to BlizzCon, and then we'll just have one spot left with 3 players to fight over it.
That's right. You know, right now it is looking a bit Rogue favored. I'm not surprised. I almost feel like Rogue is the favorite of the tournament along with Serral. He's just looking so strong right now. Not even really playing like the other Zergs.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, I bet you there's a way to get him into Broodlord Infestor, but it's not.
well, Rogue is showing he doesn't even need to get there.
Yeah, he has things
Rogue,
before that you have to pass
He's
first.
like, well, let me try this other stuff first. Oh, it works. I guess I win. But Rogue is, you were mentioning this in I think it was the pre-show, maybe on day 1. You know, Rogue might be able to actually win this entire thing.
Yeah.
I think that there's so much hype around Serral and some of these other players, but in reality, Rogue a lot of times does look like, I guess besides Serral, the scariest Zerg.
Well, in my opinion, he is the most likely Korean to win by far. And I think he can go toe-to-toe with Serral. I know the ZvZ that they played last year, Serral outplayed Rogue a bit, but I think a lot of that has to do with practice. Serral gets a lot of late-game ZvZ practice in Europe, and Rogue just doesn't get that in Korea. Like, it takes him a lot longer to get late-game ZvZs, so.
We had this, actually, it's been a couple times in RTS history where, depending on what the maps are or where the meta is with each race, sometimes one matchup is actually the most important. In ASL, for instance, we recently saw it really was going to come down to who had the best PvP.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, that was Rain. I'm sorry, KSL. And then
probably ASL too.
Probably ASL as well. But here I feel like it's going to be who has the best Zerg versus Zerg might have the best shot of taking home the trophy. I think. That being said, though, these guys are pretty good at prepping. I mean, we've seen a lot of different approaches to trying to handle Zerg here. I just don't want to see Trap try to play passively. It seems like Rogue so deeply understands how to punish that. In the games where Neeb or Trap were active, we saw Rogue lose more of those games than win.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it definitely, if you are keeping that pressure on, you're giving yourself opportunities to actually win and not letting him do what he wants to do, which I think is more crucial than ever against Zerg right now. So let's see in a moment here if he gets the Overlord speed. He should be starting it. Yep, there it is. So, you know, Rogue is... The thing is, I feel like I'm starting to find all the patterns in Rogue's play, watching him play a bunch of games that looked similar right in a row, like the timing of his Overlord speed, for instance. We just saw that start up. It feels like you're going to have to use some of this stuff against him. Now, we do see a Forge coming up. The one Forge game that we saw, you know, the 2-base all-in with that Forge really didn't work out. So I'm hoping what we see here is a sharp 2-base play with the Forge. I mean, a 3-base play, sorry.
How dare you?
I am so sorry.
No. It's probably going to get scouted, though.
Yeah, it'll definitely get scouted.
It'll always get scouted. Here comes that Overlord now. You can see Trap absolutely ready for this. But it is going to get over. So we're going to have Immortals coming out one by one. And I would imagine some kind of build up to a push here.
certainly that has to be the case.
Isn't it crazy we're flying out tomorrow, Artosis? To BlizzCon?
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
So crazy. We hope we see some of you guys down there.
Yeah. BlizzCon number, is this like 10 for us?
I
think you did one more.
I think I did I don't know. I guess I started working at BlizzCon like when I was 21.
Yeah, and you're like 40 now.
Yeah, I'm like 58 now.
Yeah.
Now I'm 35.
Look 48, feel 65, actually 35.
Yeah, it's going to be good to go down there. We'll get to crown another world champion. So sick.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a repeat.
Oh, yeah. Overlord still going to be able to come through here and get this. And here it is. 6 gates is coming down.
Are coming down.
Are coming.
Well, is this just the same build that he got smashed with before? Kind of
it might be.
That way. We have the melee on the way. A lot of roaches being made.
But he put those gates down, unless I missed this, he put those gates down as the Overlord was leaving, right? So maybe he just didn't see it.
Yeah, I think he's trying to trick him a bit, but the game looks exactly the same to me, right? Like, I see the 59 workers here from Rogue. He's on the 3 base. I mean, he's just making nothing but units, which is exactly what he needs to do right now as well.
Oh no, that's like the one unit you cannot lose, no!
Well, even to get that back in the fight now.
Yeah, I'm fine, I'm here, I'm okay.
Ooh.
Let me at him. Okay, so the rush completely halted there. I mean, the Immortal is the centerpiece of the rush. I guess comboed in with the Warp Prism. And so this rush, I think, already on paper shouldn't work.
Yeah, you would think so, but he's taking it in a nice spot, right? He has that ramp that he can kind of force field him out at reasonably well. Getting in here, mixing it up right away. Those Zealots blocking all these Lings from getting on top of him. Much Biles coming down. The drone's being pulled as well.
He's coming in right now. Another big warp in. But these Queens are beginning to hit the Warp Prism. And he needs to back it up right now. It does go down, which means the rush cannot be reinforced anywhere near as easily. But already 16 drones have been taken out.
Wow, I mean, he did kill a lot of drones with that so far, but with no Prism, this is not something that can end the game right now. He's trying to get as much damage as he possibly can, though. The 2 Immortals dealing huge amounts of damage. The 3rd Immortal finally comes up now, but it is the very damaged one. He's actually diving upon it.
Yeah, and that means this rush is going to be easily cleaned up as these Corrosive Biles connect with these Stalkers. GG, Rogue is moving on to BlizzCon.
All right.
To Blast Blob.
Well, that, I feel like that was kind of an anticlimactic finish there at the end. Trap just kind of falling over with a build that already did not work previously. Rogue looking just so strong.
Yes. Trap could not solve PBZ here. I will tell you what, though, that Immortal getting stuck is his fault. You cannot have the Immortal get
Yeah, just rallying that out. It's, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, but
mistakes happen, but that's why he's going to be going to the final match here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rogue looking very strong. He gets to go up into a #1 seed, which means all of our top seeds going into the final 8 at BlizzCon will be Zerg players, which is going to give us some hella good ZVZs maybe in the next round.
Get that word ready. We're going to California tomorrow, Artosis.
Good.
Yeah. Let's go to an interview with Rogue and see how he's feeling now that he has managed to move on to BlizzCon.
First player to advance in the final group. Group D is Rogue himself, a former WCS Global Champion. So first of all, congratulations, Rogue, with this advancement. You're advancing to that round of 8 3 years in a row. So tell us what that means to you.
축하드리고요. 이번 그 8강 진출이 벌써 3년 연속으로 8강 진출을 하셨는데 기분이 어떤지 얘기해 주세요.
좀 요새 너무 리그가 너무 계속 있어서 좀 쉬고 싶다고 생각을 되게 많이 했는데 그래도 마지막이니까 정신 붙잡고 열심히 했거든요. 근데 이렇게 또 미국을 가게 돼서 너무 기쁘고 8강 가서도 제 목표가 8강이 아니라 우승이기 때문에 8강에 가서도 또 좋은 경기 하고 싶어요.
So he says, recently there were so many tournaments going on, so I honestly thought to myself that I wanted to take a bit of a break, but still, this is, of course, BlizzCon. This is the WCS Global Finals, so I really tried very, very hard and practiced as hard as I could, and I'm really glad that that practice paid off with this result and this advancement. It feels great to be going to America once again, but that being said, the round of 8 is not my goal. My goal has always been to become champion once again, so that is what I'm going to be focused on as I head to America next week. And when it came to Trap earlier today in an interview, you mentioned that you felt that you needed to adjust your style a bit to match his. What specifically did you change?
이전 인터뷰에서 조성우 선수 스타일에 맞춰서 준비하겠다고 했었는데 구체적으로 어떤 변화를 했나요?
일단 성호랑 같이 팀에 있어가지고 성호 스타일을 잘 알고 있어서 뭐 할지는 되게 좀 엄청 특별한 거는 나오지 않을까라고 생각을 했어요. 그래가지고 그냥 막으면서 후반만 가자라고 생각을 많이 했고 생각보다 좀 올인이 무섭긴 했는데 좀 성호가 멘탈이 좀 나간 것 같아가지고 그 부분이 좀 유리했던 것 같아요.
So he says, I'm a teammate of Trap, so I know his style very, very well. And so there was a little bit of a fear that maybe he had prepared something special, but, I just had a specific idea in mind in that I would just try to defend whatever kind of weird attack he might come with and just try to get to the late game. But that being said, I do think that because of the losses, it affected Trap's sort of mental state, and I think that because of that, psychologically, he sort of lost, and that's why I was able to win as easily as I did. And of course, recently in an interview, you also mentioned that your motivation has increased a lot lately. So headed into the BlizzCon playoffs, what are your expectations?
최근에 동기부여가 상승했었다고 했었는데 이제 블리츠컨 8강 진출 각오 한마디만 해주세요.
8강의 상대가 누가 될지 아직 모르지만 8강은 그냥 준비 열심히 해서 이기고 제 목표는 항상 세랄이기 때문에 세랄을 꼭 이길 수 있도록 열심히 준비하겠습니다.
He says, while I'm not sure who I'm going to be facing in the round of 8 as of yet, I promise I'm going to do my absolute hardest and prepare to defeat whoever that may be. But my goal from the very start has been Cyril and defeating him. So whenever I do end up facing him, if I do, I hope to take him down. But for now, congratulations once again, Rogue, on being the first player to advance out of Group D. When we come back from this commercial break, we'll have our elimination match coming up. It'll be Neeb taking on a laser.